Hey friends, and welcome back to YeeFit Adventures, where we're sharing our family's journeys from epic hikes and local explorations to bucket list travel around the world. This time we're kicking off something big, our European adventure. So come join us. Before we cross the Atlantic, we're making a quick but unforgettable stop in Seattle, Washington. From the bustling energy of Pike's Place Market to the views around the Space Needle, and of course, plenty of good eats along the way. So let's jump in. We strolled over to the iconic Space Needle, but instead of heading straight up, the kids decided to make the most of the nearby playground, and the big fountain became their personal water shower. After working up an appetite, we found a cozy Vietnamese restaurant near the Hyatt Regency for dinner. Fresh, flavorful, and just what we needed. And for dessert, a sweet coconut mango boom. It's kind of like a slush with sago and lychee jelly, which wrapped up the evening perfectly. The next day, before our flight to London, we made one last stop, the Asian Street Food Hall. From sizzling skewers to flavorful noodles, it was the perfect send-off before our transatlantic journey. Seattle was the perfect prologue to our European journey, a mix of great food, family fun, and a dash of adventure. Next up, we're crossing the pond to London, and the adventure is just getting started. Our flight to London was the first international flight for the kids. They enjoyed the complimentary meal, and once we got there, we took the train to the King's Cross area where our hotel was. I enjoyed a hidden chicken curry, katsu curry spot here at the Cold Drop Yards, which has a bunch of shops and restaurants. It's a really nice area just to hang out. Our first full day, the next morning, it was all about tradition. We headed over to the Buckingham Palace, we took the public transportation, and we witnessed the famous changing of the guards. The precision, the music, and the pageantry, it was truly an experience. No trip to London is complete with a stop at the iconic Harrods. The food hall is an absolute wonder. From artisan cheese to handcrafted chocolates, every corner is a celebration of flavor. But the dessert hall, it's pure magic. There's rows of delicate pastries, glossy cakes, and treats almost too pretty to eat. We met a friend for high tea at Orangery, which made us feel like royalty, tasting the tasty chrysanthemum tea and sampling all the pastries. Were very delicious. After burning off some energy at the Princess Diana Park, we went on a self-guided walking tour and then ended the evening at Shondo's pub for London's classic crispy fish and chips and a hearty steak and ale pie. The next day, we paid a visit to Borough Market. And it's an absolute foodie's paradise. They have a ton of food stalls, and to kick things off, we headed over to Monmouth for a smooth and rich coffee. It's the perfect fuel for exploring. Then we wandered around and we came to a mushroom risotto cooking station, which was really nice to sample. And then the famous bread ahead doughnuts that at every bite is as good as it looks. The creamy pistachio and the creme brulee flavors were just absolute divine. And then we kind of wandered around more just to burn off some of those calories, and we saw a cool melted cheese demonstration with some gooey, and then they piled the cheese on top of some crispy frites along with some pickles on the side. It's just comfort food at its finest. And then it was starting to get around lunchtime. To wrap things up, we stopped up and got we stopped at a Turkish stall to sample and purchase some of the Turkish delights. The Turkish coffee was very strong and aromatic, and kind of you could taste the grinds in it, but it was a delicious treat that paired well with the coffee. Borough Market was just starting to get more lively, and we were able to pick up some food, have some lunch. We found a nice spot up on these kind of bleacher areas. They had some tables at the top where we were able to share and sample some of the food, but it's definitely a place that I'd recommend checking out. Today we're at the Imperial War Museum, so let's go check out some of these sights and sounds. The Imperial War Museum was one of the most moving stops of our trip. Just walking through the exhibits, we were able to take in on the journey through history. And it's comprised of multiple floors, starting with the first floor, from the trenches like of World War I to the resilience of London during the Blitz, the artifacts, personal stories, and some of the interactive displays really brought the past to life. As you move through the museum, they've got old uniforms, how they produced food during that time, where some of the Londoners were hiding during the time. This museum wasn't just educational, it was very emotional as well. It's this place that makes you pause, reflect, and just truly appreciate the sacrifice that shaped the freedoms we enjoy today. As you walk through on the other floors, they had a Holocaust section. They had where the weapons that they used during the time, the tanks and the planes, were just truly amazing. Alright, that does it for the National Military Museum. We just went to the first two floors, World War I and World War II. The second floor was actually the Holocaust, which my wife took up. There's a piece of the Berlin Wall. We had a good time. Got in our steps. It looks like we're gonna maybe head back to the train station, take a little quick break, rest before we go out to dinner. After dinner, we headed over to Big Ben to check out the old clock and spend some time in the park and just hang out and relax. But it was a fun-filled end to the day. The next morning, we headed over to the Cold Drop Yards. We walked over and had breakfast at the Shooms. They had a perfectly cooked naan. The Thai tea was perfect that went with it. And at the end, we played a little dice game to see if we could win free breakfast. No trip to London would be complete without seeing London Bridge and the iconic Tower of London. Just walking by the London Bridge with the Thames flowing right next to you and with the city skyline all around, just gives you the perfect "we are here in London" moment.
As a dungeon and torture chamber! Yeah! The rack, which made short people taller, or the scavenger's daughter that did the opposite and would crush you into a wee ball, would have been used on poor, unfortunate victims. It was a dark and evil smelling place, illuminated only by the tortured candle. No sounds of the cries of anguish or pain would have been heard through those thick walls. Today, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, when you go down into that basement, and you're all gonna find it still a disgusting, evil, satanic place, because we've now turned it into a gift shop. The prices are murderous, trust me. Now, I'm running out of time, so I'm going to tell you a bit about the Tower Ravens. Very important, these ravens, especially to me. There are 5 yeoman warders, I am one of them, who look after the iconic ravens of the Tower of London. There is a legend. If the ravens were to ever leave, the White Tower would crumble to dust. The monarchy, king and queen, would cease to exist, and I would be about to drop. So to ensure that never happened, since the reign of King Charles II in the 17th century, we have kept 6 ravens by royal decree. Now, I've just told you a little white lie, we don't have 6 ravens at all. We actually have 8 ravens. We have 2 spare, in case one flies away or dies. Now, these ravens have beautiful names. We have Jubilee, Georgie, Poppy, who is my favorite, Erin, Chaos, Harris, and our 2 baby new ravens are called Edgar and Poe. That's Poe, children, not Pooh. Yeah! Right, if you look behind you, by the floor, approximately knee height, there's a glass pillow. That's the execution site! Woo! But do not confuse that glass pillow with the public execution site on Tower Hill. Only 9 people were executed there. 3 of them, Queens of England. Anne Boleyn, Catherine Howard, Lady Jane Grey. Now, all these buildings are very important that surround me. The black and white Tudor building, that's the King's house. However, all the green doors you see, they're also important. That's where we live. More importantly, me.
After the Tower of London, we headed back to Harrods Food Hall to pick up some food. And my wife really loves stuffed dates, so we picked up a couple of desserts and some stuffed dates, and we headed over to Hyde Park for a picnic. After relaxing and burning off some extra calories at Hyde Park, we wrapped up our evening with a sweet stop at Hafiz Mustafa. And wow, what an experience. The display cases were a rainbow of treats, from perfectly layered baklava to rows of colorful Turkish delights. We tried a little bit of everything, from a pistachio ice cream to a bread pudding. Some of the treats were rich, nutty, and just perfectly balanced with just the right sweetness. I also ordered a strong aromatic Turkish tea. It was the perfect ending to a day of exploring London. Hafiz Mustafa felt less like a dessert and more like a celebration with every bite. The next day started bright and early with a proper English breakfast at Blue River Café. Eggs, toast, sausage, and coffee that hit the spot. From there, we took the public transportation and started our day at the Natural History Museum. The grand architecture and incredible exhibits, from tire dinosaur skeletons to glittering gemstones, were awe-inspiring. One of the downsides was in the heat of the summer, there is no AC there, so I recommend either going in the fall or the springtime when it's a little bit cooler. Next up, after exploring the museum for a couple hours, we headed over to the Victoria and Albert Museum, which was just down the street, and soaked up the centuries of art, design, and culture. For lunch, we were getting kind of hungry. We grabbed a bite at the museum, which keeps it very simple with some salads and soups. Their scones are to die for, and we even picked up 2. But we spent the rest of that afternoon just looking at the art. There was a plaster cast display of replicas, which a lot of the statues were displayed. And it was just a really fun afternoon. And it was nice that it had air conditioning. We wrapped up our day with some comfort food we already knew we really loved. We had dinner back at Dishoom's. We tried some of the rich curry to their fresh baked naan, and it was the perfect way to end the day, packed with history and beauty. Thanks for watching YeeFit Adventures as we started our first leg of our European trip. Please like and subscribe if you like this kind of content, and stay tuned for part 2 as we take the Eurostar to Paris and then back home through New York.